that. Should be going live here pretty soon. Oh, yeah, that worked. Okay, what's up, Hammond? Oh, good stretch. I think you're the only one here at the moment. So wait for a little bit. Give it a minute or two. I did start a minute early. I just had everything together. But this also ends up being a YouTube video, and people come in after the live stream, so don't want to wait too long or the YouTube video will start really weird. Oh, boy. It is Tuesday, my dudes. How is it going? So, the event today. Whoops. Is it showing me stuff? Okay. Event today is the Faction Faceoff, number 3. If you weren't here for 1 and 2, what notification? Got it. 1 and 2, it was started out as kind of the series where it's a fun team format. We could have... I need Total War to get out of the way for a second. We had Chaos factions, so Beastmen, Norska, and the Warriors of Chaos teamed up versus the First Defense of Order, which would be on the campaign map. It's usually Dwarves, Empire, and Bretonnia. So we had them all fight. Chaos came out on top. It's an elimination style, so if we go through the whole bracket and let's say 3 Order factions win versus 2 Chaos factions winning, well, we start back over with the 3 who survive fighting the 2 until there's only 1 person left. So it's an elimination style. Anyway, Chaos prevailed in the first challenge. So then the second challenge was Wood Elves, High Elves, and Lizardmen banding together to try to stop them. And again, Chaos prevailed before the DLC. So now we'll see if post-DLC, if Nagash can stop the Chaos Tide. So we got Tomb Kings, Vampire Coast, and Vampire Counts, all working together to try to stop Chaos. We have, pretty gosh darn good players for both sides. Grombrindle, usually a dwarf player, volunteered to play Celostra Gyrefin for fun. RTK Honeynut played Cetra to the Imperishable. Tomb Kings, it was really hard to find any players, so Honeynut is a champion for playing them for us. Anticity himself came in to represent the Vampire Coast with Aranis Assault Spite. Tien, repping the Red Duke, very good Vampire Counts player. And Neckbet, part of our community, one of our YouTube mods, is playing Manfred von Karstein. On the other side, we have the usual crew, if you've seen the previous 2. Deadly Bunny's on. So we switched from Kazric to Torix the Brass Bull with the new DLC. BBB Rocket Row on Archaon the Everchosen, Papa Palpatine, Kolek Suneater, Butcherbird, Malagor Dark Omen, and Valkanos on Wulfric the Wanderer. So I will transition over to the games. Replays. Scroll. Game 1. Game 1 would be Deadly Bunnies versus Grombrindle. And I have no idea how Torix the Brass Bull performs against Vampire Coast. I haven't really seen these replays beforehand. I like to be in suspense with everybody else. And if there are any rule breaks, the players could have brought it up to me at any time, but they didn't. So if we see any, it's too bad. They were replayed. They were played over weeks ago. So yeah, we'll just deal with that when we get there. But if you want to participate in this format, I will get to that in between games at some point. But the games are played as scheduled by the players, so it's over the course of weeks, low pressure. And I think it's, all of it's on the current patch. We waited until the patch came out before we started. So, to start off here, Deadly Bunny's advancing with some Harpies, and I need to slow down just a bit. Looks like we have 3 Harpy units to counter Gunbats, 4 Archers. Yes, 4 Ungor Raider Archers, always very good against Vampire Coast. Ungor Herd front line, maybe a couple Gore Herds in the back, but it looks like mostly Ungors, because in case of bombers, you don't want to lose any expensive infantry. 2 Razor Gore Herds in the back, with the Sons of Goro Centaur's great weapons to provide both magic damage and armor piercing to get through crabs or sirens. Bray Shaman of Wilds with Cygor Summon and Traderkin. And Torix, the Brass Bull. And for Celostra's team with Grombrindle, we have Deck Droppers. Ooh, 2 Deck Droppers with pistols. One with the Salt Lord Scudlers deck droppers, bombers. I'm very interested to see why this was picked, because they do have armor sundering as their special thing, but the beastmen aren't known for their armor. So Grombrindle's in the chat right now. Grombrindle, why'd you bring these guys? What is up with that? We have the Gallows Giant, the ROR Necrofex Colossus. Now this is a great pick. I love this because its melee attack and its missile attack both have Discourage, and the leadership of the Beastmen is quite fickle, so any discouragement is excellent against them. A couple bombers, very good choice. Some zombie deckhand mobs and polearms in the back. Celostra on top of her giant crab, and a fleet captain of vampires with one carronade to force them forward. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. Hello, CJ. Good to see ya. Hammond, I bought a step ladder today because my real ladder left to get milk and never came back. I appreciate that joke. So the deck droppers are having a little bit of a hard time next to the Harpies, but Harpies are not undead units and they can actually break, and fighting right over the Gallows Giant. He's going to be shooting fire straight up into them, giving that Discourage effect and trying to push them off. Harpies chasing other deck droppers into the distance, and it looks like the Salt Lord Scuttlers are the only deck droppers allowed to do what they want. It looks like the Carronade is firing at Torix. He is a big target. He can dodge if he's properly microed, but that takes a lot of time and energy, and that is a good choice. Now it looks like these Harpies are rallying a bit. The Gallows Giant is having a hard time aiming straight up at them, and it looks like these deck droppers are going to disintegrate away, so one of them is down. Certainly a tough time for the Vampire Coast. Maybe if they had like one handgun or something to try and help protect it, but it's hard to predict a bunch of Harpies coming at you. Salt Lord Scuttlers are taking a lot of fire from the Ungor Raiders, and they're trading back decently, but they have a lot less health to trade in the process. Razor Gore Herd is rampaging straight into some zombies, which is not ideal for them as bombs are coming down on the Gore Herd, but the Gore Herd is so spread out, the bombs barely do any damage. Celostra summoning her Damned Knights Errant, probably going to bounce out here and go around to all these archers, run them down. They're ethereal. I think they're terror-causing. They are terror-causing, so they should cut through the Ungor Raiders very efficiently. But the Beastmen are off to a very early lead. They are currently slamming through this front line, compromising a lot of gun positions. You can see the last of the deck droppers is down, and I believe a Traderkin is coming in here, yes. Hitting a lot of units, doing good damage, and the Razor Gore Herds are going to charge the rear of these zombie pirate gunnery mobs, and it looks like the Beastmen rush is slowly overcoming the Vampire Coast. Now we do have the Gallows Giant, big terror-causing monster himself. Celostra's still plenty alive, and the Vampire Fleet Admiral's still alive. So, it is far from over, but Deadly Bunny's taking a good start right away. Where's Torix? Is he just chilling? Torix is chilling at half health because the Carronade's been shooting him this whole time. Now he might decide to get involved, because I don't know besides him what can take down Celostra. Maybe just volume of fire from all these Ungor Raiders. But if she's allowed to just run through infantry all the time, she'll be largely okay. Torix comes in, and I think he gets a really good hit onto that Vampire Fleet Captain. I think. And then he immediately dives away to somersault to safety. Gallows Giant is probably going to be focused down by these two Archer units pretty soon, and Necrofex Colossus units are always very, very weak to that sort of thing. And Grombrindle casting a Rotting Prometheans in this area. Maybe if they can pin in... It looks like they are sort of pinning in Torix the Brass Bull. They can beat him up pretty badly, because Rotting Prometheans do have a good amount of armor-piercing damage to them. And I believe, is that Song of Enthrallment? No, it's Fog of the Damned. So everything around here is getting minus 24 melee attack. Torix doesn't give a single shit about that as he dives straight through and again hits that Vampire Fleet Captain, doing a ton of damage to her. And as long as she's crumbling like she currently is, she can't cast Invocations of Nehek to heal herself. So that will be a big problem. And Deadly Bunny's summoning a Cygor in the middle of all this just to function as a Walmart giant, and again he slaps that Vampire Fleet Admiral and she dies. That is going to be rough for Grombrindle, and the bounce power is starting to show a little bit of Beastman dominance. The Gallows Giant is currently surrounded by armor-piercing units and getting shot on two sides by archers. Last of the Vampire Coast chaff is whittling away very slowly, and Celostra's going to try and bounce out and slap around some Ungor Herds. Start a chain route, maybe get herself back in this game. But without the Vampire Caster, there's going to be no healing left for her, and I think it's only a matter of time until all the archers focus on her and take her down. Gallows Giant is valiantly fighting to the end and trying to get some flamethrower action onto Torix, maybe lower his leadership a bit so that Celostra can push him off. But Torix is a very tanky lad, and I don't think he cares too much for fire. Is there a way for the Vampire Coast to get back into this game? That Cygor summon is going to dissipate, and we can see all the Beastmen infantry is very damaged. So maybe Grombrindle can just wait out the storm, wait out all the ammunition, and in the late game just cycle charge and kill everything with Celostra, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough indeed. Gallows Giant again firing at Torix and actually getting some decent damage on him. That is more than I would have thought for a single entity target. I thought this was more of a crowd clearing device. Celostra casting Arcane Conduit. I think she can have another Rotting Promethean summon in the pocket. Maybe. She's cast one so far. I didn't see that many invocations coming in for the Vampire Caster or Zombie summons, so I think there's Winds of Magic left. And Promethean summon right on top of Torix could trap him in and beat him up. Ooh, the Gallows Giant has fallen though. Balance power is going away from the Vampire Coast, and Torix gets a good hit on Celostra. And with that, I think she's going to start crumbling, and I think that bar is going to go yellow. Good first game from Grombrindle. Playing not his main faction for us, just so that the event could continue. Hero of the people indeed. And Deadly Bunny is on his main right after a patch. Kicking tons of ass. A nice tide call coming in at the end just to do a bunch of damage to some Ungors. It's very nice there. I'm curious what Torix's value was. 1,500. Yeah, he was zoned most of the fight. In the chat, Grombrindle saying those bombs are very good against unarmored infantry. Got it. Ungors largely just did their job, got in there, bumped and grind, and died. Ooh, Goreherds also had a tough time. Archers did pretty great. Sons of Goros did well. Harpies, well, 2 of them did well. Razor Goreherds did okay. Surprised the value's so low on all these things. Celostra got 1,100. Other than that, the deck droppers struggled a little bit. They were chased by Harpies for most of it. Carronade and Gallows Giant got okay value, but not enough to carry the whole game. Yeah, pretty good value overall. Both armies a little low on value. I guess because these guys route really quick and Disintegration lowers some of the value you can get off of Undead. And with that, we will go to Photoshop. And we need a color. We need a color to cross out the brave Grombrindle. I think a royal blue would be appropriate. For he is frequently known as Chad Thorgrim, King of the Dowie. So we will do a nice royal blue. Is that blue? Nope. Undo brush. Brush tool. No, I don't want that. I just want hard round. Smaller size. Boop. Now that's black. Undo. Photoshop, I hate you sometimes. The first champion, Grombrindle, has fallen. Alright. Contende, my man bunnies. Must be rootin' for the Beastmen. Oh, that's right, Contende. You have corrected me many times to the fact that you are a Beastman player and not a Bretonnian player, as I thought you were. On to game 2. We have RTK Honeynut on Cetra the Imperishable versus BBB Rocket Throw on Archaon the Everchosen. And every player and their grandmother has told me that this is a terrible matchup for the Tomb Kings. I was aware of this. I asked Honeynut if it was okay, and they said sure. So, real hero of the people. Fighting against unwinnable odds. But some of the situations we ran into would be like, we only have one Norskin faction and one Tomb Kings faction. And it would kind of suck if both of the single factions fought each other, because then we'd see 2 games of, you know, a lot of the same things going on, and also one of our unique factions would have to knock the other out, and that would just suck. Anyway, focus. Focus, human boy. Marauder Horsemen, 2 units of them on this flank, 1 Chaos Warhounds with poison, and I suspect the same on the other side. Indeed, so 4 Marauder Horsemen, 2 Poison Hounds, Chaos Marauders in the front with the Mirror Guard. Otherwise, we have a bunch of Chaos Warriors with Halberds in the back, and 1 Chosen with Halberds. Archaon the Everchosen coming up behind with Burning Head and Firewall. Pretty usual kit versus the Tomb Kings. Now for Honeynut, we have 4 Skeleton Horse Archers to contest the mobile game, a bunch of Skeleton Spearmen and Skeleton Warriors. Just cheap chaff, you don't care too much about them. 2 Shopti Great Bow. Wait, only 1. Huh. Would have thought there was 2. It's just the Chosen of the Gods. A Screaming Skull Catapult, a Casket of Souls, 2 Tomb Princes. That's interesting. Again, I have not seen these games, so I don't know what to expect. One of them is Guardian, the other one just, it looks like has whatever that blurry thing is. That it really wants to show me Archaon. I don't give a shit about Archaon right now. The Curse of Jaff. And Cetra on his giant kitty. Meow. The only spell it looks like he has is Incantation of Protection, so some physical resist. Interesting not to see the... I really like the Curse of... Oh crap, I don't know Tomb Kings. The Curse one. The minus 24 melee attack and melee defense and an aura. That one's really good in my opinion. But I guess if Honeynut has no real front line that can take advantage of that, it would be a bad spell. Looks like Rocket is committing his Marauder Horsemen to fighting the Skeleton Horseman Archers, realizes they can win in melee combat, especially with dogs helping, and just trying to get some good poke damage. But they overextend a little bit, and they do collide with the front line. I wonder how badly that'll be punished by Honeynut. We'll have to see. But on the right flank, a lot of the Skeleton Horsemen are dying to the dogs, so that aggressive move by Rocket met with much more success. Overall, it's a bit of a wash as one flank lost and one flank won. Cetra is getting very aggressive, running straight into some halberds. He will want to push out of here, but there's no mass to really tie him in at this moment, so he should be okay. A Casket of Souls, I wonder why it was moving out so far. It must be a missed attack order or attacking a shattered unit without guard mode on. Because I know that happens to me sometimes where if like you're trying to click on this unit and you click like there, you'll start walking out, but you won't notice it. So the Casket of Souls is desperately trying to get back into safety. And Skeleton Horse Archers have kind of taken their position inside the formation as regular archers. Just going to shoot out, rely on their shields to carry them through. And halberds aren't super great at clearing through chaff, so maybe Honeynut can just sit and shoot over his front line. Now, one problem is going to be that the Chosen of the Gods are already down to about half ammunition, but now they are getting onto a great target in the Chosen with halberds. That's going to be excellent value. Speaking of excellent value, a Burning Head coming down the line and almost deleting a unit of Skeleton Warriors, curving over into another one to do half of its health damage, and that is an excellent start to the game for Rocket, because he needs to get through this front line very quickly. Dogs get on top of Skirmish Cav in the back, and they pull away, and it looks like Honeynut is moving some Spearmen over to get on top of these Marauder Horsemen, but the inside of this line is very compromised already, with Chosen with Halberds in here, Dogs in here running around, and the Casket of Souls already has to retreat again instead of firing. Now Cetra is going to try to push into the Chosen with Halberds, and their leadership is wavering a lot for Chosen. I thought they'd be a little tougher than that to take down. If the Chosen of the Gods can get out of this and start firing again, certainly those Chosen will be screwed. And they're already terrified. Oh, no, that's the Chaos Warriors who are terrified. Where are the Chosen? They're in here somewhere. There are the Chosen. They're not terrified. They're just very, very low in leadership. Cetra's running around, taking advantage of everything he can, but Archaon the Ever-Chosen with Slayer of Kings is in here, and he is working on that Casket of Souls. And now he's just flexing on him by running around him in circles instead of swinging. But he comes around and starts to finish the job. That casket will probably crumble away into nothing, especially if Archaon hits it again, which he probably will. Its melee stats are absolutely terrible. And he does. He takes down the Casket of Souls. Now, Cetra is very angry about that and creeping up on our boy Archaon, so he might want to run. Cetra comes in, lands a nice hit on him, but a Burning Head is going to come in and take out Skeleton Horseman Archers and Spearmen in the back line. It looks like Chaos is off to a very, very good pace this game. They've pushed through, they pushed through the left and center flanks. The right flank is a bit of a standstill, but they've taken out most of the juicy targets they wanted. Chosen of the Gods are about dead. Casket of Souls is dead. Cetra's taking a lot of damage, and Archaon is largely fine. Where are the Tomb Princes? Ooh, Tomb Princes are getting murdered by Chosen over here. That Chosen pick is actually coming in pretty clutch. I'll be excited to see their value. Cetra's desperately fighting against Archaon, but I think the writing's on the wall, and Honeynut does concede. Honeynut does concede indeed. Archaon getting 2,400 value. Halberds, one of them got a bunch. Otherwise, they were fine, but their health pool was fine, so they could have kept grinding for days. Horsemen did okay. Dogs did okay. Cetra and his hero squad had a tough time getting value. Casket of Souls had that little misplay where it walked outside. But other than that, the other two ranged units got a lot of value, and skirmishers had a tough time. So we can see why that is tough for the Tomb Kings. Lore of Fire and a bunch of big armored boys running straight at your face. I have fallen, but I will come back. Yes, Grombrindle. Yes, you will. You're a champ and you're a hero. And I am casting like shit today, so I have to fix that. Wake up me. And Honeynut is down. If you have any requests for colors, shout them out in the chat. But until then, we'll keep going. Tomb Kings are kind of an orangish yellowish. So the forces of pseudo-order. Nagash helped the good guys in the end times, but is he really a good guy? I don't know. Pseudo-order is doing okay. They're down to 3 people against 5, but Anticity's still alive. And that's all you need. You just need Anticity. And here we have him on the Pirates of Sartosa versus Papa Palpatine on the Warriors of Chaos. And I have a mention. Nope. Okay. Okay, that mention's not important. Anticity, Master of the Vampire Coast. I heard in the Faction Faceoff chats that he had some interesting Beastmen builds to show us, but we'll have to see if he even gets there. First front line, we have the basic zombies mixed with polearms. Nothing really too special there. Do we have 3 handguns? 4? 4 handguns, 1 cannon to force them forward. Aranis Assault Spite, Vampire Fleet Captain of Vampires with the Summon and Heck, and 3 handgun bats. Good build, good build. Oh, 2 sirens in the back. I don't know if I mentioned that. My build versus Chaos has Queen Bess, so it's a little different. And for Papa Palpatine, we have an Exalted Hero on a Manticore and a Feral Manticore, Marauder Horseman, Horseman, and Horseman. So 4 units of Marauder Horseman, no Horse Masters, no Throwing Axes. We have a mix of Forsaken, Mirror Guard, Chaos Marauders with the Great Weapons, and more Forsaken, including the Demon Spew ROR. Kolek in the back, and Chaos Sorcerer of Fire with the Burning Head, Fireball, and Flaming Sword of Rune. Probably help with the Sirens, but I think Burning Heads could also achieve the same thing. Now this Chaos Feral Manticore has gone all feral and rampagey and is running straight into a bunch of guns. I do not imagine we'll be seeing too much more of him. Meanwhile, a nice overcasted Fireball from Papa Palpatine already takes out 1/3 of the Carronades. Wonder what could be done about that huge fire weakness? I don't know. Lower it. And yeah, as we predicted, this Chaos Feral Manticore is unfortunately getting shot up because he rampaged straight into the middle of a gun line. Not ideal for him. Now the front lines have clashed, and Anticity is going to lose the front line very handedly, so he's going to try to space out the engagement. Pop in summons to support whatever falls, and you see that he's not immediately pulling these polearms up, he's only pulling them to a disastrous situation, because it's not about engaging as many places as you can, it's actually the opposite, where Anticity wants to take as few engagements as possible, and just, you know, slow feed into the Chaos Rush. In a way, yeah, you don't see Kolek a lot in this format. We ask the players ahead of time what they want to play, and I put my thumb on the scale a little bit. Like, for Chaos, I said, please don't pick Sigvald. We see enough Sigvald, and that sort of thing. So we get to see a little different stuff. That's why Anticity's on Aranessa. Not an ideal lord. Alright, these handguns are tearing up Kolek. Whether they're in the sky or on the ground, he's having a terrible time, and these cannons are probably going to shoot at a point-blank range. Now, Aranessa is getting pummeled on the front now that Kolek has gotten into combat with her, but it doesn't look like Anticity cares too much about his lord. He's mostly just using her to block down Kolek. And Kolek is, while he's getting shot like a million times and he is dying, he is putting in work on Aranessa. That was hilarious. Like 3 out of 3 shots hit and did so much damage. That was pretty funny. Now, Chaos owns this left flank mostly. They've gotten in the back line. They're attacking these Sirens. These handguns are all compromised. The right flank Anticity has completely routed, it looks like. Yeah, he's won this really hard. Ooh, almost full health unit of Sirens. Got to bring those guys back. Now, Kolek has died, and that's going to be tough for Chaos. But they still have an Exalted Hero. I think they still have a Chaos Sorcerer. Yep, he's in here. But a Vampire Fleet Captain of Vampires is right on top of them and doing a lot of damage. That and the handgun fire. And Chaos is having a tough time dealing with all these handguns. Maybe they could have used their Skirmish Cav a little more as a ranged unit and picked them off, but it looks like Palpatine's opting to use them as a light skirmish melee cavalry and just kind of running them in and out to disrupt gun formations. Now the Exalted Hero suffers the same fate as the Manticore before him and gets shot on all sides by Anticity's guns. Chaos Sorcerer of Fire is routing, and without any leadership presence or magic that can be cast, I think this will be a victory for the Vampire Coast. Nagash might be on the board. Grumbundle, importantly, Nagash's army was held in the end times by the Karak-Azul army for as long as possible. Everything comes back to the dwarves with you, Grumbundle. Everything. Alrighty, so these deck droppers are running around, and wait, Anticity doesn't have a gunnery white, does he? Either that or I'm missing it. Kind of surprising to see 3 gun bats without a gunnery white to support them. I mean, he didn't need it in the end, but oof. That's normally a combination you see. And a weird visual bug there with these pole arms that are apparently unbreakable, but the real value is negative 51 and they're crumbling away. And can Chaos pull it back? Chaos Marauders, Chaos Marauders. There's a lot of cheap infantry left and some skirmish cav, but not enough real stopping power, I don't think. Araness is quite low, and she cannot be healed up by Invocations of Nehek because she's technically living. Vampire Fleetcaster is at about half health. Oh, okay, maybe Chaos can bring this back. There's 1 full health unit of Sirens, but other than that, Anticity's running out of ground forces very rapidly. Aranessa is pretty low, but the edge of the map's right there, so any Chaos unit that routes off will probably run away forever. Mirror Guard, do you do magic damage? No. Without the Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Fire, those Sirens are going to be very difficult to take out. But without a gunnery, I mean, I'm saying but a lot, I'm sorry about that. Without a gunnery white, these handguns are going to run out of ammo pretty soon. Oh, this is hard to call. I still think Anticity's going to clutch it out. We'll see. Sirens are just playing Ring Around the Rosie with these Marauder Horsemen. That's got to be fun for them. It looks like Papa Palpatine's trying to group up as much as possible, though he does have 2 units routing that are being effectively chased by a very dead Siren unit, and these Marauder Horsemen don't have anywhere to go. Looks like they're using the last of their ammunition on Aranessa, trying to get rid of her. The Undead don't rely on their lords as much for leadership as other factions, because it's not like they're going to rout or anything. But she's certainly a fearsome combatant. She's not a caster, though. Might want to use that on the Vampire Caster or on the Gun Bats. Oof. With all these units running away, though, balance of power is going firmly into Anticity's favor. And I think once these Chaos Marauders break, game's over. I do believe. Because those Forsaken can't do very much, the Mirror Guard can't do very much. And they're getting shot in the back, slapped by giant crabs, and decided that the Dark Gods aren't worth this mess. And they leave. Reptilicus! Hello! My name is in all caps, and that makes me feel special. Way, with a burning head on the Sirens? Yeah, way. Yeah. I mean, you know, everybody can play better at different times, so... Pop Palpatine's certainly a very good Chaos player, but was defeated this time. In the other challenges, he was usually one of the last ones alive. So it looks like his comrades will have to help him for once. Handguns all got good value. Carronade mostly paid for itself. Handguns got good value. Just everything on Anticity's roster largely did what it had to. Except for Aranessa. She got worked on by Kolek. Kolek only got 600 value on his brief time on this earth. Firecaster got a lot more with 1,300. Otherwise, ooh, Forsaken got 1,300. But it was just tough. It was tough to get your value in, fighting all this chaff. Most of Anticity's money was in the sky and out of reach. Certainly a good game there, and we need a color. We need a color for Papa Palpatine. I will wait on the chat, but I'm currently hovering over red. Chat, you got a color? 3, 2, 1. I don't think there's that much of a delay on the stream, but I will stall for just another second. And red. Our first Chaos Champion has fallen. 2 Order Champions, the Gash Champions have fallen. And we will see if Tien and Nekbet can continue the winning spree for Order. Just game. Flip back to the chat, and we'll find game 4. Game 4 is our own Butcherbird, admin on Discord and mod in YouTube, versus Tien. Another fellow in the community, has been around for quite a while. Participates in a lot of my events. On the Red Duke. Hammond saying gray for the next person to die. Fair enough. So for Tien, we have 4 fell bats, the Red Duke on a dragon, double White King on the ground, probably with Scabscraith. Looks like they have Scabscraith. 3 zombies in the front line, 3 Graveguard, including the Sternsmen. Are these Blood Knights? Blood Knights. 2 Blood Knights in the trees. A very elite Vampire Counts army. You can see it's not that high of a model count, only 900. For Butcherbird, we have 3 Centaurs with throwing axes, a Jabberslythe, and a Gorgon. So embracing the new DLC units. Remember when these games were played, the DLC had just come out, so I'm sure Butcher was just giddy as could be to play with the new giant monsters in his roster. Ungor Spearman Herd and Ungor Herd across the front line, so just chaff. And one Centaur. Do I see two Centaurs? Ooh, two Centaurs. Do I see a third with the great weapons and magic damage and other Sons of Goros things? I do, because I already saw them. And Malagor is his lord in the back here. Now, this is kind of a weird thing that Malagor can remain hidden. We didn't know whether it was a bug or not, but as you'll see as the game goes on, this isn't bug abuse, and I'll point out why. It could be interpreted as bug abuse, but I don't know. I don't think it is. Centaur's getting some free charges on zombies. They don't really care too much for the damage they'll get back. Zombies don't really do any damage at all, so that's free. It's free until the Blood Knights run up and show themselves, which is probably what Butcherbird's trying to do, because as long as he's charging with Centaurs, the Blood Knights have to come up to protect, right? If the Blood Knights come up, then these throwing axes can advance and harass them. Though it does look like Butcherbird's going to play a little more conservatively. It looks like the players are trying to feel each other out, especially on this map with this big old foresty side, and neither player has a presence in here unless their math is perfect and they know exactly, okay, that is their entire build because I know the math so well. There could be units for either side hidden here, so both sides are being super cautious about that when actually there's nothing in there, which I find very funny. Felbat's advancing a little bit. There's nothing in the sky for them to duel with, so they're mostly just going to chase off anything that manages to rout. Unfortunately for him, Butcherbird did not take any Ungor Raiders that are prime targets for bats. Grumbrindle, see you around, dude. See you around. The Red Duke is advancing a little bit. Just a bit of a skirmish phase here, but I think now we can see the thing I was going to explain is even if Malagor wasn't hidden, I don't think Tien would play that much differently, because advancing the Red Duke to duel him, you'd get hit by all these throwing axes right beneath you. And if you advanced with all your Felbats, I mean, the throwing axes would also still hit them, but I think Malagor has... Yeah, he has Overcasted Flock of Doom, he has Enfeebling Foe, so he could defend himself long enough while these ranged units take you out. So I don't think even if he was visible right now that Tien would come up and sacrifice so much to try to duel Malagor in the sky. And Malagor is faster than the Red Duke anyway, and he's also faster than these bats. So even if he wasn't hiding, I doubt Tien would come up, and even if Tien tried to come up, Malagor could outrun all of them. So, bug or no bug, doesn't matter, in my opinion. Hammond saying the Beastmen are allowed to hide in the woods. It's lore friendly. Yeah, that's another thing, is we don't know whether or not CA intended it, because there's so many bugs right now that it's like that could just be they meant that to be a cool thing for Malagor to be the only flying unit that can hide in the woods, but it could also be a bug. I don't know. Scab Scraith coming in here, doing some good damage to an Ungor Spearman Herd. It looks like a second one's coming down, doing more work to that other herd. And Felbats are finally getting engaged on top of these Centaurs with throwing axes. Looks like they're just trying to shut them down. Maybe with them all busy, the Blood Knights can advance and charge, and with that they do. I think these Ungor Spearmen will be breaking very soon. Maybe one Felbat unit can go chase them off, and Tien's going to pull these other Felbats back now that the Blood Knight charge has been secured. Over here, Butcherbird finally does commit the Gorgons. The Gorgon and Sons of Goros are running in on the Blood Knights and doing a ton of damage to them after Enfeebling Foe is cast, making their stats pretty bad, but it is wearing off now and Butcherbird pulls away, letting the Jabberslythe run in. The Jabberslythe has a pseudo-Mortis Engine effect on units that are low on leadership, so it is helping kill these zombies right now, but it's kind of a tough ask. Now what is this? Flock of Doom? Overcasted Flock of Doom coming in. And it looks like Malagor is finally getting chased a little bit by bats, but he's going to pull out immediately. Now, Blood Knights are having a tough time. With a good pendulum coming in, the Sternsmen are also getting worked down a bit. And where are these Blood Knights? Oof, 24 models, 1,000 health. They are not long for this world. It looks like the Beastmen are just a little too tough, a little too muscular for the vampire counts. Now, that being said, one Ungor Herd and Centaurs have been pushed off. The 3 Throwing Axe units are very, very healthy, though. The 2 big monsters for the Beastmen are very healthy, and their Lord is as well, so everything they care about is still doing great. For the Vampire counts, the Red Duke's doing well, but all of his supporting units are getting torn apart and trashed, and the Blood Knights got murdered in the open field, which is not great for the Vampire counts, as Blood Knights are usually one of their win conditions. Without them, I don't think Tien's going to have the killing power to get through the Gorgon and the Jabberslythe. He only has one half health unit of Blood Knights left. They're currently getting throwing axes thrown at them and a Gorgon rear charging them. That is pretty tough. I'm trying to think of how anybody could win it from this situation, and I'm coming up a little empty. He has some Graveguard that are getting easily kited by throwing axes, or cycle charged by big SEMs. Maybe if he can take the Dragon right now and surround the Gorgon with the Blood Knight support, but even as I say that, the Sons of Goros get a rear charge on him, doing magic damage. Oof. Yeah, it's looking like a tough one for TN. Beastmen post-update. Maybe OP. Maybe broken. Maybe no one can beat them. I'm sure Butcher will love to hear that. I sense I'm going to get a very strongly worded Discord message. Gorgon is isolated against the Red Duke now, surrounded by zombies, but the Sons of Goros and the Jabberslythe are trying to countercharge, get back in there to help him out, get him out of there. Balance power is going very firmly into the hands of the Beastmen, and most of the vampire chaff is dead. Most of it. There's one zombie summon over here and a mostly dead Graveguard trying to help the Red Duke. And he's getting good work done on this Gorgon. But Butcher could pull him out at any time, and the Gorgon has regeneration, so if Butcher just takes him out here, runs him around, he'll get back up to full. He don't care. Sons of Goros, Jabberslythe waiting to fight this thing if it comes back down for the Gorgon, but it doesn't look like TN will do that. Instead, he's trying to group up everything with these two White Kings and maybe just death blob this one out. Maybe. How are we doing on throwing axes? All these throwing axes are still at half ammo. Butcherbird being very conservative with that, but in the late game it's going to be super useful. I think right now they should all fire at will on and get free value on the Red Duke. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. All of them getting a volley off, does about a third of his health. He's stopping again. It looks like he wants to fight Malagor, but this is the situation we talked about at the start of the game, where if he does this, unsupported over all these throwing axes, you can see he just gets worked on. The zombie summon will come down on top of throwing axes just to stop them for a little bit. I don't know if that will do too much. It looks like Butcherbird's just trying to command path through them, run away. The White Kings are being a little troublesome for the Gorgon to take out because he has a lot of anti-large, not a lot of anti-infantry capabilities. So Butcherbird pulls him out. Looks like he's going to try to cycle charge. And Overcasted Gaze with Nagash coming down. Ooh! That does half health on Malagor. Good to know. Good to know. Might be too little, might be too late. Throwing axes again are supporting against the Red Duke. He tries to get a breath attack down, but the Centaurs run so fast and avoid it. Malagor... Oh, you're flying. Okay. From that angle, it looked like he was running on the ground very, very quickly. But axes are trying to zone off the Red Duke, and he lands for one last blob fight that I think I can hit this button and resolve. Overcasted Flock of Doom coming in, Gorgon running up, trying to kill the Red Duke. The Gorgons get staggered so much, man. I don't know. It's hard to tell if they're worth taking or not. In this matchup, I'd guess they are, because they're immune to psychology and the fact that they cause terrorists. They can't get terror routed off. Jabberslythe is super low in leadership as the Red Duke's fighting, but I think this is a foregone conclusion at this point. Yeah. Slowly they crumble to dust. Slowly, slowly. Alright, we get the point. And that will be a win, a second win for the new Beastmen. They are broken, confirmed, overpowered, OP, S++ tier. I've seen a lot of the Sons of Goros recently, and those aren't a new unit, so I wonder what brought them up out of the woodwork. Maybe Deadly Bunnies or Butcherbird can tell us what that's about. Centaurs are throwing axes, very well managed, very well micro, didn't waste any ammunition on them. Just excellently well played there, and both the monsters got over 2,000 value. That's really good stuff. TN's Red Duke and White Kings paid for themselves, but other than that, the Blood Knights had a less than stellar performance. It's just every fight they tried to take, they got whooped on, which is pretty tough for them. Pretty tough for them. I did hear in the chat that the next thing we're doing is gray. So let's go left screen, Photoshop, and gray. And our own TN has died. So far for Nagash, Aranis Assault Spite, the only non-undead, is the only one doing his will. Doing his bidding. Raw. Laser eye beams. I don't know why that happened, but it did. Anyway, On to the last game of the first round, Valkanos on Wulfric the Wanderer versus Nekbet Manfred von Karstein. And I heard there was a bit of drama with this game, so we're going to see what all that's about. Hey, he did it! I talked to Valkanos about this build, a similar build. I have a different version of the same thing, but it's just how you fight vampire counts, out-blob them. And that is very funny to me. So, maybe Norska still has one matchup they can fight in. Maybe. We have Balefiend of Fire with Flame Sword of Ruin, Fireball, and Burning Head. A very standard kit. We have Familiar Warriors with great weapons to do some armor sundering and or magic damage to Sirens. Not Sirens. Karen Wraiths. 5 Marauder Berserkers, great at cutting through zombies. A Skinwolf Werekin for the... Wait, did Valk not take it? Valk. He usually has an aura that gives everybody around him some more defensive stats, but it looks like Valk didn't take that. We have Wulfric the Wanderer with Seafang, Fight or Die, and Hunter of Champions. Pretty standard stuff for him. And the War Mammoth with the War Shrine. Giver of Glory gives fire damage and melee attack. And leadership. But this is the main point, is you get this big old blob. And what I do is, with the Skinwolf Werekin, there's he has a thing that gives armor, I think. The Valkanos blob, I've seen this many times in Faction Wars. Yeah. So I like to give my whole blob armor, and then the War Shrine gives your whole blob leadership. And it is pretty nice. But I take Throg the Troll King, to also have AoE Unbreakable if things start to get a little rough for you. Now on the other side, for Nekbet, we have Manfred von Karstein on his dragon with Spirit Leech. And the zombie summon, Invocation of Heck. We have 1 Blood Knight. I imagine we have another one somewhere. Ah, right next to it. 2 Blood Knights. Graveguard. Skeleton Warriors and Zombies, it looks like the front lines will be. 2 Vargulfs, a White King, and another White King with Scabscrath. And now Scabscraths have come down. One didn't do that much damage, the other did a lot. We had a Seafang do a little bit of damage to the Skeleton Warriors. Burning Head do a good amount to those. It looks like both the Vargulfs will engage very, very quickly. Trying to get on top of the War Shrine Mammoth, trying to take it down with their armor-piercing anti-large. Are you even anti-large? Nope, just armor-piercing values. Still good versus the Mammoth, but with the Familiar Warriors coming in immediately, these Vargulfs are going to pull out and get behind their skeleton shaft. Now, the Mammoth has an animation that takes it through the shaft, so now it has no support. It is in their 1v2. If Nekbet can take advantage of that situation, he will be off to a very early lead. It looks like Manfred's coming over, trying to rear charge on it at the same time. So the War Shrine Mammoth is in big trouble right now. Valkanos is winning on other areas of the fight as he's just bumping and grinding it out, but losing the War Shrine Mammoth this early will certainly be very, very bad for him. He is trying to path it through, but it's trying to run through 3 really big models, and I don't think it can. This is a good pick. This is a good pick. Tiago saying, hello, Ratman. Good to see you, buddy. See you. We are casting an event, and I am doing a subprime job, but doing my best. Double Vargulf hitting Wulfric on the back. Yeah, it looks like they either aren't landing attacks or aren't doing a lot of damage, and the War Shrine Mammoth rallied. Now, it sucks that it's that low of health, but as long as Valk can keep its leadership buff going, then that'll be fine for us. The army, excellent Burning Head, coming in here, roasting 3 units. Now it's Skeleton Warriors and Zombies, so, you know, it's a total value of maybe 400 gold, but still a good Burning Head. Taking out 3 units can never be spat at. Blood Knights are kind of surrounding the Skinwolf Werekin and doing good damage, and so far Nekbet's picked some really good engagements. Valkanos is behind on the balance of power, and another Scabscrath coming in doing almost no damage to those Marauder Berserkers for some reason. Ooh, and the Skinwolf Werekin breaks! If a Blood Knight unit can just follow him off the map, that will certainly be very good for them. But they're going to turn around and countercharge this Mammoth, which is also a good idea. Look at the damage they're doing to him. That is really good work. But a Seafang coming down. Will it just wreck these Blood Knights? It does good damage. Doesn't wreck them, but does good damage. So, with the Vampire counts, may get another point on the board for Nagash. They're certainly doing very good so far. Skinwolf Werekin is running off. He's going to regen and probably come back unless these Blood Knights pull out and go fight him, but it looks like, nope, they're going to come around this way and try to get a rear charge on these Berserkers, maybe? I don't know. The War Shrine Mammoth has died, and a good breath attack from Manfred directly over Wulfric hits him, brings him down to half health. The Vargulfs are fighting and sort of dying, but an Invocation of the Hex is coming in for that one, and they both can regen. Skinwolf Werekin has rallied. Blood Knights are rear charging. And Neckbet's playing this really well. He messaged me saying that there was a lot of mistakes he made, but so far it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I think you should keep your chin up, buddy. Wulfric is fighting alongside the Famirs and the Famir Balefiend of Fire against these White Kings, but he's having a hard time killing anything. And on the side, it looks like a Vargulf may have finally gone down to the Skinwolf Werekin. Either that or I'm just not seeing him. I do believe he's dead. Skinwolf Werekin is anti-large, and he do be putting a beating on monsters, though. What's going on over here? Zombies are crumbling away. Corpse Cart and a White King, I believe, is right behind it, are chilling, but they do not have any more infantry support left. Maybe a zombie summon can help them out a little bit. And the two Blood Knight units are very injured, but they can possibly heal back up. Now, Wulfric's pushing alongside all of his troops, and the bounce power is still Vampire Count's favored, but coming back a little bit in the Norskin territory. We will see. This Skinwolf is quite low on health, and his healing cap's even in sight. That's new to see, honestly, but he charges into Blood Knights. He's going to do very well there, and he has tons of support around him. So the main problem for the Vampire Counts is they don't have any crap left. They have a bunch of important units, but they don't have any chaff to help it out. They don't have anything to take the damage for them. They're just all doing it themselves. Now, as we say that, zombies are summoned, but one Blood Knight's going to crumble away to nothing. The other Blood Knight's taking a ton of damage, and his Vargulf is quite injured, but Wulfric's going down! Oh, Manfred getting a good rear charge on him, and the breath attacks have been super on point. Vargulf slapping his back, but missing a whole bunch. With 53 melee attack, he only has 34 melee defense. He still missed that much. Oof. Berserkers are grinding down a corpse card over here, but I don't think Neckbet cares about that too much at this point. And all of a sudden, the bounce power shifts against the Vampire Counts as the last Blood Knight dies, the Vargulf is crumbling away, and Manfred does manage to kill Wulfric. So can Manfred and a couple White Kings carry this against a bunch of Norse King chaff and a Famir Balefiend of Shadows? Vargulf is swinging away with the last donkey punches of his life, and it looks like there will be a surrender coming out from Neckbet. I think maybe he could have won that. Maybe, but it was in the Norskins' favor at that point. And that was a good bump and grind. Not a lot of insane strategy there to analyze. Just slapping. Just a lot of slapping. Like a Vampire Count's mirror. One Vargulf got 1,700 value. That's pretty nice. But I think that was fine. That was a good play by Neckbet. Hello, Ratman. There. Now Tien said it. True. Tiago saying I played F&G once in this matchup. Now I always ban it when I can. He had a nasty full kite build. Felt like playing Wood Elves. Yeah, Norskins can rely on their cavalry a little bit much. But they have to. They have to. Oh. Okay. So we are down to Inticity versus the World. We haven't used any greens yet. Let's use a green. Pew, pew. Pew. Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew. Pew. I don't know what any of that was. So at this point, I just told Inticity to challenge whoever he could for any reason. And we were just going to see how many people he could beat. Or all of them. And a reminder, if Inticity wins this tournament, that'll take him up to 5 event wins on my channel, giving him $50. So I kind of wanted these guys to beat him. I don't want to give Inticity money. That guy is a meanie pants. So what do you think, chat? Do you think Inticity can fight all these dudes? We'll find out in Game 6. Inticity on the Pirates of Sartosa versus BBB Rocket Row on the Warriors of Chaos. This is not his Beastman build. Damn it. I still want to see what he was talking about with that. Okie dokie. For Chaos, we have Marauder Horsemen. Was that Masters? Okay, 3 Horsemen. 4 Horsemen, 2 Marauder Horse Masters. The Swords of Chaos? The Swords of Chaos and Archeon. I mean, I appreciate the memes and the coolness, but they do fire damage, not magic damage. So it's not like they're even good against Sirens. Chaos Warriors with Halberds and Chaos Marauders mixed in along with the Mirror Guard. And that is it for the Chaos build. So a lot of skirmish, a lot of kiting. For Anticity, we have 4 deck droppers with handguns, and I think Rocket really needs to scoop up all of these skirmish cav and bring them over here to where the flyers are, but I think Anticity is purposely avoiding all that. Anyway, we have a Necrofex Colossus, Vampire Fleet Captain of Vampires, Aranus Assault Spite, a Gunnery White, also on a crab, Fellbats in the sky. We have Sartosa Militia, 3 units of them, so they don't crumble, they just break. What's that little symbol do? Rowdy. They have perfect vigor. Huh. Okay, so the Sartosan militias have perfect vigor. I don't know why that's true, but they do. 2 handgun units and no cannons. No cannons, no artillery outside of the Necrofex that can kite. Huh. That's a unique build by Anticity. I haven't seen this. Necrofex Colossus got some free shots off, helped rout off one of the Marauder Horse Masters. Ooh, that is good value. And he's immediately going to turn around and try to run to his front line. He is getting charged in the back by the Swords of Chaos, but if he keeps running, certainly these handguns can cover him. Now a Burning Head is coming in. It's a decent cast. It's going to do about half health to those militia. It was a little off. I think Anticity might have pseudo-dodged it. And if it keeps going, it might hit these Chaos Marauders even. And a little bit of friendly fire, not too bad. Oof, the skirmish cav for Rocket are getting worked on. This Necrofex Colossus and all these handgun bats are doing just so much work. Horps, I hope the Swords of Chaos don't take a Necrofex volley, says Way. Yeah, that would be a little tragic. But it looks like Anticity's keeping his Necrofex focused on the Marauder Horsemen and Horse Masters. Certainly a good choice. Archon, the Ever-Chosen, trying to charge in, but Aranessa does have a net, and she nets him down and simply walks away. Best Lord in the game. Rocket casts a fireball straight up, trying to snipe some deck droppers. I think he hits 1 or 2, but not enough to kill them. This was not meant to be Marauder Horseman, as Anticity takes a very, very early lead. Swords of Chaos are down to half health. A lot of the infantry is getting kited out. And I'm trying to think of how Rocket gets back into this game. A lot of his bat-killing tools are getting murdered by the bats. And other than that, Anticity can kite him. Vampire Coast can kite. What a world we live in. Archaon is trying to fight his way back into this game. He's currently pushing a couple deckhands along with him. But I think if he gets back here, Aranessa, the Vampire Fleet Captain, and the Gunnery White can all just turn around and melee him, and he will actually lose that one, I believe. Burning Head coming in, hits a couple of the militia, but Anticity does dodge it, but it is going to slam straight into this other militia. And it does some good damage there. Archaon now getting shot in the back by many, many things, charges forward, and Aranessa just decides to take the fight. He is taunted, bringing his melee defense down to 36. Wow, he actually still has a lot of melee defense considering what's going on. And the Swords of Chaos are coming to back up Archaon, but it might be too little, it might be too late, as they are all going to die. And the Necrofex Colossus is staring off into the distance, wondering what it would be like to climb a pyramid. It'd be pretty fun, wouldn't it? You could see lots of stuff up there. Silly memes aside, Swords of Chaos are down to 82 health, and somehow they haven't shattered. It's just one guy, and Archaon's joining him, running off back to the Chaos Wastes. Ooh, yeah, Archaon shatters. But the Swords of Chaos don't. Archaon shatters, and they don't. Who's the real hero here? Rocket is trying to push forward with his infantry, but the problem for him is just that he is getting kited, and Vampires will not take a straight-up fight, and Rocket will concede. Anticity is going to hard carry. Ooh, he's trying. So on the faction face-off, we have Anticity taking down the first of many, many challengers. We'll give Rocket hot pink. Boom, boom. Can Anticity kill 3 more opponents and claim his $50 for his 5th tournament win? We will see. Oh, sorry. Left screen. Boom, pretty pink. So can he beat Deadly Bunnies, Butcherbird, and Valkanos? Can he? Can he? Back to this for the value. Archaon got 1,400. Pretty good considering how hard he got wrecked as soon as he got into any fight. Everything else struggled to get any value as Anticity kited it out effectively. So Toast Free Company, they got okay value. I don't know how much they actually cost. I'm going to guess like 600. Ooh, these 2 handguns got a lot of value. Gunbats got a bit. They got a bit, but they were all full health and fine. And the Necrofex Colossus got a bit, but again, it was full health and fine. So we will go to Game 7. Anticity versus Butcherbird. Anticity versus Butcherbird on Northern Chaos Wastes. I tried to do a good variety of maps, and this one has less straight sight lines for Anticity, but it looks like he's taking roughly the same build. So this is his apparently anti-Beastmen new build. Deck droppers, some with handguns, some with pistols. Okay, 1 pistol, 4 handguns. You have a gunnery wight on the ground, vampire caster, Aranessa, Necrophex Colossus, 4 dogs, and 5 pistol mobs. Interesting. Interesting stuff. Butcherbird took Harpies, much like Deadly Bunnies did in the game against Grombrindle, trying to take out the Sky Force, but it looks like the combined fire of all 5 of these units and the Gunnery Wight and the Necrophex Colossus has already driven off 1 Harpy unit, and the other 2 are going to be on standby for a moment. Now, Butcherbird also has Malagor the Dark Omen. We have Ungor herds across the front, Sons of Goros, Centaurs, some Gore herds with shields in the back, Centaurs with great weapons, and a Jabberslith. So largely the same build we saw from Bunnies in Game 1, with a few little variations, mostly the Jabberslith. Now these pistol mods are firing up into the Harpies, who are super low armored, and they take tons of damage from these little pistols. Very nice for only 300 gold for these units down here. And he can actually protect these bats, which allows them to fall back and kite. I think Anticity is secretly a Wood Elf player who just really likes the undead. Once we get undead elves, I think he will be a very happy man. That flag is deceptive. There's 1 Scurvy Dog there with the flag. The rest of the unit is right there. So that Scurvy Dog's actually going to be okay. The Gunbats are firing into the Harpies, mostly just focusing on shooting these low-value assets in the sky, but once Anticity clears the sky, then he can focus on the high-value assets once he's no longer under threat. So very good target prioritization there from him, playing the long game, not worried about killing the Jabberslith right now or killing Malagor right now, just wants to secure his position. Much like you do in an artillery duel, you want to take out the other artillery first if you think you can win the artillery duel. If you don't think you can win it, then you want to focus on priority targets as long as you can. Sons of Goros get netted down by Aranessa and shot in the face by the Necrophex Colossus, doing a ton of damage, and the edge of the map's right there, so if they rout in this moment, they probably won't come back. Nice Overcast Invocation of Nehek over here, healing some Scurvy Dogs and some deck droppers, getting them back into the fight. Butcherbird is fighting well, though, and Anticity's down on the balance of power. Bird has gotten on top of the pistol mobs, is largely killing them off, and did get onto the backline some, though the Scurvy Dogs with healing and handgun support were able to push off those Centaurs. Roughly even trade. On the start, I would take the Beastmen position at this point in the game, as most of Anticity's ground forces have died, the dogs are crumbling away, and all is well in the world. But, as we said earlier, the last of the Harpies is pushed away, and now Anticity owns the sky, so as long as he can kite and stay alive, there are no raiders to poke him, there are no throwing axes to poke him, nothing can hit these handguns, except for Malagor and melee, which, what are his stats, 55, 45? Okay, he has decent stats, and he is trying to get on top of them in melee. I wonder how Anticity will handle that. His sightlines will be blocked. If he fires at it with the Necrophex Colossus, he'll probably just hit his own bats, or it'll say it can't fire. So that is going to be tricky. And more Traderkins could come in. Yeah, Butcher's playing pretty well. Now, though, with a bunch of things routing off the map, the balance of power has come back to the middle. Anticity is pulling away. Harpies are shattering all around. And maybe they'll all turn and fire on Malagor. I'm not really sure what Anticity's plan is for Malagor. This Jabberslith got worked on by the Hero Corps, probably slapped by Aranessa, the Gunnery Wight, and the Vampire Captain all at the same time, and shot by the Necrophex Colossus. Now it's getting shot by handguns, it is going to rout, and unlike the Gorgon, that does not regen, so that's the health it gets for the rest of the game. Malagor has almost taken out 1 unit of handguns, so good work by him, and Butcherbird is slowly pushing up with all of his infantry, rallying what Centaurs didn't run away from the fight, and trying to get on top of this ground force. I don't believe that handgunner will come back. And one of the deck droppers is dead. Was it a pistol mob? Okay, so the pistol and one of the handgunners is dead from Anticity's handgunners. Sorry, Anticity's deck droppers. Blech. What is that? Flock of Doom upgraded, hitting just the deck droppers with handguns. It looks like Butcher really wants to finish that off and make sure it can't get Nehekt back up to health. And Centaurs are trying to take a fight against the dogs. I am concerned that these infantry are going to fall behind constantly. What's their movement speed? Ooh, Aranessa getting a nice net onto these Centaurs. It looks like the Gunbats will turn around and shoot at it, most likely. And the Necrophex Colossus is lining up a good shot. Can he fire? Yes, and he does about a third of the health of the unit. Very, very nice stuff from him. Malagor is being very persistent fighting these handgun bats. And the Gunnery White is leading all of the Gore herds on a merry chase. Centaurs are trying to get on these dogs, but it's a 3v1 with a vampire caster nearby to help, and they will rout off just as their reinforcements arrive, and I imagine they will also rout off quite quickly. Oh, Malagor, what are you going to do? I wonder if he has any more Traderkins in his back pocket. I doubt he doesn't. Oh, this is ballsy by Anticity. The Necrophex Colossus is advancing into the Horde. I think trying to hold him off, and then he'll walk away in a bit, but Malagor has jumped down there. Malagor does some damage somewhere. 400 damage. So if he ever hits that Necrophex, that is 400 health getting chipped away. Anticity's still kiting. Still kiting. It looks like a Scab Scrath came in there and hit some Ungors, did good damage there, and the Jabberslythe's back! Yay, Jabberslythe! It's probably going to rout very quickly again, but it is doing good work on the Necrophex Colossus as it goes. This is a close game. This is maybe the closest game we've had so far. That or Valkanos and Deckbat. Anticity's kiting away, fulfilling the attacking rule with his handguns, which is fine. I wonder if he's going to give a restock to either of these super low units. And Butcherbird has really good target prioritization there. He sees this unit is lower, but that unit has way more ammo, so he's trying to take that out. It's worth more to him, because once this runs out of ammo, it's just a worse Felbat unit. Goreherds with shields are chasing down the Necrophex Colossus. It looks like Butcherbird's finally done with running around in a clump. He is just going to spread out and try to use his numbers advantage to drag Anticity down. Scurvy Dogs are crumbling slowly. Even that one with a positive leadership bar on our screen. It actually has negative numbers. So maybe those will fall away. Malagor's still fighting, and now it looks like it's trapped up in deck droppers that have no ammo. And he is taking a little bit of damage in the air. I wonder if he's already used all of his magic. It feels like there haven't been that many spells cast, but apparently there have. Anticity's running away on this side. Necrophex Colossus chased by a Gore herd off into the distance. And all three of these dogs just slowly falling apart. So, well, this is turning into a bit... This feels like a campaign battle with all these guys just running around in circles to distract the infantry. There's not a lot Bird can do to push the issue. Just have to have Malagor keep fighting all these gun bats in the sky until they run out of things for the attacking rule. These dogs are going to finish crumbling away quite soon. The bounce power is still dead even, but a Cygor summon coming out from Malagor. That's interesting. And what happened to you here, my friend? Deck gunners have been shooting him, apparently, and the Gunnery White maybe got a shot or two off on him, and that is shifting the bounce power into Anticity's favor. If Malagor dies, this is going to be over. Cygor wandering in. I think it's going to start throwing boulders up at the gun bats, maybe? I don't know. It looks like it's going to just walk after the Gunnery White. Can you even catch him? 39, 45. Unless you get your charge animation off, you won't be able to catch him, my one-eyed friend. Malagor is getting chased off. I doubt Anticity's going to let him come back, but he is maybe the fastest unit in the game right now. So I don't know if Anticity has much of a choice in letting him come back. Necrophex Colossus and the handguns try to shoot him down, but he does dodge a lot of that damage. And Butcherbird's immediately going to pull him over closer to the Colossus. Super low on leadership, very low on health. Necrophex Colossus shooting. I think he shot Aranessa there. A little bit of a whoopsie. But Malagor does dive down into his Gore herds just for a little bit of support. I wonder if this Gunnery White can give any ammo to these handguns yet. They are going to be critical in taking out Malagor and then everything else. Necrophex is running forward and firing, helping out Aranessa a fair bit, but she is taking good damage. Slowly but surely, they're all getting ground down. The Cygor is chasing after the Vampire Fleet Captain on her crab. And will this be it, chat? Will this be the end of Nagash already with 3 Chaos players left alive? Will the Chaos players go 3 in a row of winning the faction face-offs? Or will Anticity bring it back with some campaign-esque, not cheese, but kiting strategies? The Cygor fades away in the distance, and a Zombie Pirate Deck Iron Mob comes out of the Fleet Captain. Just stall things a little bit. And I think maybe a restock came in for these handgunners, because I don't remember them having that much ammo. Where's Malagor? Malagor's way off in the distance, keeping his range away from the handgunners. This deckhand mob is disintegrating away. I think it came from the Necrophex Colossus, and this is also a summon. So those 2 summons will disappear, and they're currently propping up the balance of power. How much they're propping it up by, I don't know. Also, at this point, I think Anticity's got this. There's an Ungor Spearman herd and a Gore herd with a shield. I am going to hit fast forward just a little bit as we do some Benny Hill running. Pew, 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 pew. Alright. Both the summons have faded, so the Beastmen have 4 extremely damaged infantry units, 1 full health one, and 1 full health but cowardly one over here fighting the Colossus. Malagor is running from all these handgun bats that cannot fire while flying, so they need to stop and try to shoot, but by that time he's out of their range. And Anticity's going to keep moving. Now this is perfectly legal, as he has 2 units of gun bats trying to attack. Kite, kite, more kite, lots of kite, scab scrape, kite, kite, kite. And we're down to 4 half-health infantry units and a mostly dead Malagor. That Necrophax Colossus still has ammo. That Gunner White's got to be out of restocks by now. There's so many things that are so low on ammo. Gunbats are firing, Anticity's chasing. Firing, chasing, firing, chasing. Malagor comes back in to get into melee with the Gunbats, but Gunbats are immediately going to pull away. And the Vampire Fleet Admiral, Fleet Captain, I keep doing that. Fleet Captain is jumping in on top of her crab, trying to scare off all of these little units. Necrophax Colossus is out of ammo. Gunnery White's almost out of ammo. Gunbats are almost out of ammo. There's no way they have more restocks, but a zombie summon comes in, and that is going to tip the balance of power for the Beastmen. That was a slog, but Anticity did it. 2 more, chat! 2 more, and Anticity could take out all the Chaos players. Pistol Mobs had a hard time paying for themselves. They did well at zoning off the Harpies, but after that, struggled really hard. Handguns did great. Yep, largely did great. Necrophax Colossus did fine. Malagor did well. Shantigors and Gore herds all struggled. Harpies struggled really hard, and the Jabberslythe had a hard time. Whew! Whew! He's gonna win the speed run again anyway. Anticity should be renamed Sarticity. Please never give Ent undead elves. He deserves them, though. He deserves them. And now we get to cross off another name. Butcher Bird. What color should Bird be? We have orangish yellow, green, blue, purple, red. Let's get teal. Pow pow! It's down to Deadly Bunnies and Valkanos versus Anticity. Let's see if anyone can stop him. So we have Odium Anticity versus Penis Extension. Deadly Bunnies, you always make my life so easy, don't you? Don't you? Perfect. Anyway, into the game. So, oh god, there's a lot. Gunbats. Everybody loves gunbats. We have 4 handguns and a pistol mob that just took a shot from their own Necrophax Colossus. In the back, we have 3 Sartosa Militia. I thought I saw 3. Okay, I guess just 2, and then 2 zombie pirate gunnery mobs with the pistols, 4 dogs, a Vampire Fleet Captain, and a Gunnery White on crabs, while Aranessa's on foot. Necrophax Colossus, y'all know the song and dance. Deadly Bunnies has brought in 4 Harpies. Archers. Looks like only 3 archers. A Brace Shaman of Wilds that has taken a lot of damage already, probably from the Necrophax Colossus. Ungor Herd front line with Centigores to back them up. No Razor Gores this time. And Blackhorn's Ravagers with other Gore Herds in the backfield. So he did switch up his build a little bit from fighting Grombrindle. Anticity changed a couple things for fighting Butcherbird, but still largely the same song and dance here. Beastmen are already an advantage on the balance of power. I wonder if it's because of the damage the deck droppers took, or I have heard rumors that they do just get inflated balances of power these days. Slow push by Deadly Bunnies, realizing that his Harpies will have a harder time with all those guns on the ground, so not fully pushing into the deck gunners just yet. But that being said, he does immediately fly on top of the zombies. And I heard something that sounded like a Scab Scrape. Ah, there it is. Scab Scrape coming in, doing a lot of damage to Harpies and Ungor Herds alike. And the Pistol Mob is just unbreakable undead, so they don't really care what happens to them. 1 deck dropper has already been killed. I think it was the pistol one. Yep, the pistol one. So all 4 handguns are still alive. Good for Anticity there. And the Harpy Air Corps has largely been dispatched. There's 1 full health one in the back. Otherwise, the air again belongs to the Vampire Coast. So Sartosa Militia are breaking, not something you're used to seeing on this roster. but it is true. And this Gunnery White is getting into a melee fight with Torx the Brass Bull, and he is regretting that decision sorely. With an invocation of Nehek and a net, he will get away. Now Torx is pissed off and probably going to keep chasing him. Some good Ungor Raider fire here on top of the deck droppers with handguns. They are taking a lot of damage. And Torx is not going to give up on this Gunnery White, it looks like. Looks like he is still going to go after him. Maybe. He stopped for a little bit of a breather here. Harpies and Centaurs getting on top of the Sartosa Militia. They will break very soon. This other Sartosa Militia is still running, and it has some scurvy dogs to try and protect it. They do not want to fight the Blackhorns Raptors at all in melee combat. Brave Shaman of Wilds is taking a ton of damage. It looks like Deadly Bunny's just going to try to cast spells before he dies, because die he will. That is one very low mage. Torx gets on top of the Necrophis Colossus, and he's not intimidated. He is not scared of you. He will kick your ass even if you have 3 cannons for an arm, which he does. In the back, we have a Gore Herds with shield. Doesn't even need it. Tactical reserves from the bunnies. And these Harpies are having a terrible, terrible day. Brave Shaman of Wilds has broken, has 3 dogs on top of it. Maybe a little overkill. Can pull 2 of those dogs out of there, but Anticity has a million things going on, and I'm sure his micro needs a bit of a breather. Now the Beastmen magic has shattered. It's not coming back at all, so it's just down to Torx and the boys to get some good work done. The Beastmen have a large portion of their army lagging behind. They're trying to catch up, but Torx is a bit faster than the rest of them and keeps charging. Deadly Bunnies doesn't seem too worried about this fact and is still just chasing down the Necrophis Colossus, and it looks like Anticity realizes he has to try to bail this thing out. Aranessa and the lads are coming back. It looks like they're all going to do the same trick as before, getting on top of Torx and fighting him 3v1. He says none of that shit and pulls behind his Ungors. The chaff can die for him. 4 dogs. It looks like they killed an Ungor Raider, I would have to guess, because I think the mage was already... Yep, mage is shattered and already got away. Over here, 3 very damaged Harpies are all banding together to try to make one fully functioning Harpy unit, and it does appear to be working. They're taking out these handguns, even though they're getting Invocation of Nehekt right now. They're desperately trying not to disintegrate away, just crumble. Anticity's kiting. He does need to attack somewhere. It looks like the dogs will fulfill the attacking role, because everything was running at the same time. Otherwise, that would be a problem. With these Harpies still on top of these handguns, I don't think they're going to come out of this alive. A net is cast on top of the Centaurs to try to let the Gunnery White get out. But if you net the Centaurs, you don't net Torx. And Torx is going to keep running you down, is going to keep slapping you in the back. He's faster than that crab, and he's going to get it. He is going to put the slap down. Vampire Caster running up. I wonder if she has any summons. I don't really know where Anticity's Winds of Magic has been going besides Invocations. The summon right here might help get out of this situation, but without it, they will certainly be in trouble. Harpies in the sky are starting to shatter off, which is very bad for Deadly Bunnies. 2 handgun units are still alive and can still fire down on Torx, and that'll do a lot of damage to him. Torx does turn around, gives up on the Vampire Caster, and jumps back on this helpless Gunnery White, who casts Scab's Wraith on himself that does almost no damage against the Centaurs, and now Anticity is very far behind on the balance of power. 2 Ungor Raider units are getting quite close to that Necrophis Colossus, and they want to shoot at him. Necrophis Colossus are very, very, very favorable targets for basic archers, but it looks like the archers are actually more focused on the handguns in the sky. Interesting stuff, but Anticity decides that kiting Deadly Bunnies out for 20 hours isn't worth it, and calls it a game. Gunnery White getting 1,100 value. Otherwise, a lot of the units struggled from the Beastmen rush. Torx got 1,800 value. His front line was largely still alive. It didn't get to fight very long, so that's why its value is so low. Good value overall. One of the Harpies got like 800. But good stuff, good stuff. And that takes us to... Boom, Photoshop. Anticity's color. We'll go with black. For the black sails of the Vampire Coast. Yahar. Can I draw a skull? Skull. Wow. Wow. I won't do the crossbones, I'll just do an X. The Vampire Coast has fallen this day to Deadly Bunnies and Valkyros. And what that means is Faction Face-Off 3, much like 1 and 2, go to the boys in red, the Chaos Gods, the Dark Lads. Good for them. Good for them. They all get a win on my Discord, and they get to survive to the next round. What's next round? Who are the next people? What does that even mean? Well, if you'd slow down, I could answer you, but you're demanding a lot out of me right now. So, if you want to be one of the challengers like these fine gentlemen, I will pick a theme, which I'm going to do right now once I find the list again, because I think I have a theme. I just have to double check. I'm in the wrong place. That would explain it. In my Discord, there is a faction face-off section in the events. You can put your name in there with whatever factions you want to play. When I go down the list, if I'm looking for your faction and I see you on the list, first come, first serve, I will ask you. And since we have Norska, Greenskins, and then some other things, I think the next thematic faction will be... So Chaos has killed Nagash and two order things, right? Right. Cool. Great. That means the world is a barren wasteland now. It's all fucked up. Everything's on fire. There's no real civilization left. So the next thematic factions I'm looking for will be anybody that can do raiding. Because we've got some Mad Max stuff going on. We're looking for fire. We're looking for fuel. We're looking for anything. So if we can have anybody that does fire things, that'd be good. And I don't know. Okay, you can see my Discord on the screen. I'll full screen it because that background's getting a little trippy. But I'll ask Aryan17, also known as Katam, if he wants to play Norska, who can raid. Swarv can play Greenskins, who can raid. Felix, I'll let him switch if he wants. Otherwise, I'll go past him. Ilmatar said anything. I'll ask him if he wants to play Dark Elves for us or if he wants to play like Skaven. Wei plays Chaos, which can raid. So we might need Chaos to fight Chaos. Basically, I'm just going to go find anybody who can raid. I'll also ask Wei if he wants to play something a little more thematic. But we'll get Skaven, Greenskins, Dark Elves, and other crap in here. Mostly just I'm trying to make a theme out of the top people on the list so they can play. And then I'll create a little bullshit story like I just did that, oh, Nagash was all mad about Chaos. Humpty Dumpty Durp. Yeah, if you want to play, it'll be fun. If you're worried about scheduling, if you're worried about not being home a lot, it is very casual. I have this chat here that's hidden from most people. The only people that can see it are the ones with the faction rep role on the right-hand side. And I wonder if I put it anywhere. It's too high up. But the main point is, once I get everybody together, I say, take as long as you need to play these games. They're all best of one. Just schedule it with your partner. And I'd like to cast about one of these a month. So it's a very chill, very fun environment. We take lords that aren't exactly conventional. It's just, it's a lot of fun. Don't worry too much about I didn't play my matchup perfectly or any of that shit. It's just not what this is about. So that should be it for that. And we'll go back to the game. Oh, wait, I have the start screen, don't I? No. All right. I'm going to read the chat really quick. Please never give N Undead Elves. We read that. Ungo Raiders MVP. Hammond singing a song, but I don't know the tune. Greenskin start the what? Look, I'm in the stream. Yeah, Wei, you were in the stream. I'm proud of you. All right. For anybody watching right now, that was the end of the Faction Face-Off event. We're about to transition into casting the Speedrun event that I know isn't the most popular thing on my channel. So if you were looking for competitive player versus player action, this is the end of that part of the stream. We're going to move to the Speedrun part that I'll explain in a second. But this is the warning section where if you don't like speedruns, leave. Get out of here. Shoo. We don't want you. All right. All the nerds are gone. Time for the cool kids. So what the speedrun is, what are we talking about? What's going on with that? It is, I had Butcher Bird, work, damn you. Butcher Bird made this army. Anticity made this army. And Wei made this army. And they did not communicate at all about coordinating. Anticity and Butcherbird just came up with very similar armies on their own. And the challenge I gave to these three was, I'll give two of them $10, but the person with the build that gets beaten the fastest doesn't get $10. And I'll give $10 to whoever beats any of these builds the fastest. Not all three. Like, it's not $10 for whoever beats as fast as $10. It's just whoever has the fastest time at all gets the $10. So whoever was the fastest takes the $10 from the person who made the build that got beaten the fastest. That was the whole thing. Otherwise than that, you just take this army exactly as your AI, whichever one you want to fight. You take it on the map I indicated, and you have a good time. Beat it as fast as you can. That's all there is to it. And this time, I usually have a little thematic story going along with it, and it was very funny considering who participated, but the main plot was that, and Rohan will answer. That's, like, I was watching Lord of the Rings, I'm like, that'd be kind of fun. So the only stipulation I had is you have to have 5 mounted units. I didn't say horses, it's anything mounted on anything counts as cavalry, but it's Chaos and the Undead are closing in on the Empire, and Rohan will answer. That's it. Alright. So that being said, I have to pull up my little Excel sheet that has all the times, because I do want to go in reverse order. Boop. Alright, and first, with the slowest time but the biggest heart, we have Biblington fighting Anticity's build. With a time... Well, we'll get to the time. We'll get to the time. Now, this build was shocking to me. There's no magic. When you're trying to cheese AI, Biblington took no magic. That's alarming. Took 3 Knights of the Realm, 2 Questing Knights, a Grail Guardian, a King Lewin, a Paladin, a Green Knight. How is this even all of your money? This is kind of insane. Hank Cyrus asking in the chat, why is my Discord a buff Mr. Krabs right now? Because one of the tournaments I hosted, the prize was changing my Discord picture, and Dialatron won it, and he wanted to buff Mr. Krabs, so we have a buff Mr. Krabs. Anything mounted on anything, huh? Hey, Kelligar. Hey. Hey. None of that. Okay, a little bit of that. But none of that. Okay, so I stalled for long enough. Rohan is charging straight up the middle, and it looks like Gehenna's Golden Hounds are just going to leap behind the Bretonnians, somehow making them look even cooler. And on the advance, the aspiring champions of Anticity are meant to be quite tanky. We'll see how tanky they really are, as not very. In the face of Questing Knights, they do get quite obliterated. Chaos Spawner having a similar fate, and an Exalted Hero is performing just fine. So initial charge, Biblington getting a ton of good value. All right. Good stuff over there. The Grail Guardians, however, the most elite of the Bretonnian Knights, are having the worst time of it. And both flanks are actually going quite poorly. It's only the center that's doing well. I'm going to hit the mild fast forward button for this, as the Paladin and Lewin beat up Sartorial and take him to the cleaners. Then they turn over, get the Exalted Hero. He's not quite dead, but he is going to run away. Cav are cycle charging Chaos Marauders and Chaos Spawn, but Anticity's build was centered a lot around unbreakable units, so even if army losses kicks in, you still have to grind down all these Chaos Spawn. And Zarthoriel, those Zarthorials are already dead in this case. He set the AI to defenders? Yeah, he did. So they stand still. Anticity's usually quite good at these if anyone's not up to date on that. And like I said for the last part of the stream, if Anticity has the fastest time in the speed run, he also gets $50 for running 5 challenges on the channel. So Biblington has caused army losses at 4 minutes, but I believe there was a few Chaos Spawns somewhere he had to kill. Ah, in the trees. There's 5 Chaos Spawn in them there hills, and as soon as they die, it will be over, and it is at 4 minutes and 18 seconds. So good stuff there. And that was, okay, I shouldn't say last place, because it's last place for the people who sent me replays, but I got 10 replays, that's 10th place. But I did get messages from 4 other people who said they tried and didn't want to send in replays or forgot to save them. So Biblington beat all those people. So we have no idea how many people he beat, but he is last place for the people submitting, which is honorable. If you know you're not going to win, but you submit replays anyway so that I have something to cast and this isn't an awkward staring contest, you're my hero. And in 9th place, we also have Biblington versus Wei's army. He took Karl Franz, which is thematic. So say it's thematic. So, okay, the first one, he's playing it right? Because you're trying, the story is that you're trying to save the Empire from the Counts and Chaos creeping in. And he picked Bretonnia. Bretonnia came to help the Empire. And now he picks Karl Franz. Karl Franz gets a bunch of big guns, a bunch of big boys on demigriffs, and he's going to go out there and kick their ass himself. He's also got a Witch Hunter for some reason, and a Bright Wizard, and some Flagellants. No state troops, but whatever. Franz immediately tackles a Terrorgeist, and with Hellblaster Volley Gun support, he is going to tear that thing a new one. Flagellants are going to die for their god Sigmar, and Demigryph Knights are going to go look at some berry bushes over here. Are those berries? Look at those berries. Oh, fuck, we have a job to do. But the berries. Alright, I'll get more serious. Beautiful Burning Head coming down the line, abusing all them clumped up AI, and Wei's army of undead is already in a little bit of trouble. Well, there are 6 freaking corpse carts in the background. Franz jumping down on top of this Terrorgeist. I'm going to hit the 1 fast forward as it gets absolutely destroyed by the Hellblaster Volley Gun and a Fireball and Franz. Franz diving in on top of Vlad von Karstein, though Vlad trades way up versus him and Franz has to pull back. Burning Head will clear out all of the front line, and then Franz decides to go fight helpless, innocent corpse carts instead. Vlad's taking a lot of damage. Now the Hellblaster Volley Guns are shooting at him whenever Flagellants aren't in the way, and army losses will start to kick in for... Can't see what button I'm pressing up there. Army losses will kick in, and that'll be 3 minutes and 30 seconds for Biblington versus Wei's army. Good stuff there. Hellblaster Volley Guns, interesting pick. Interesting pick indeed, and this time he brought a caster and did go faster. So for 3rd from last place in 8th is Biblington versus Butcherbird. I think. Wait, was it? 1, yep. It's Biblington. Taking the more chill route. Same army. So this same army just kicked the absolute crap out of Vlad von Karstein. Karl Franz comes home, sits in his chair, and then they go, "Sir, chaos is coming." And he's like, Deathclaw! Deathclaw, we gotta go again. And here we go again. No Terrorgeist this time, so Franz jumps right on top of Sartorial. Starts just absolutely beating the crap out of him. But now he's a little surrounded. How you doing in there, Franzi? How you doing in there? He is down to half health with all these Chaos Marauders and Aspiring Champions and Exalted Heroes. Franz is going to pull back and with the Hellblaster Volley Guns cut down this big old bird. It's like skeet shooting, but bigger guns and a bigger bird. Apparently the Chaos Masters have deserted them. Demigryph Knights with halberds are going to slaughter these chariots. If they were Tuskor chariots, maybe they'd stand a chance, but not regular chariots. Sartorial's taking way too much damage from Franz and the Hellblaster Volley Gun. And Biblington's just going to hold his hill, hold his ground, and kill everything in sight. Shattered 1 chariot. I'm worried that chariot will come back and flank charge here. I'm worried it'll come in and compromise those things. But I don't think Biblington cares too much. Now, there's no healing for Franz, so he actually is getting a little low for my liking. But he'll pull out with a really intense animation there. Okay. Alright. That was interesting, but it got him out of his center pocket of infantry and into a new center pocket. Now, your first instinct might be all of these flags, let's cast a Burning Head, but those are Aspiring Champions, so I don't actually think this is going to do that much damage. It does not. But it does, to Biblington's credit, give all of them a leadership debuff, which causes a mass rout / terror rout, and it might even come all the way over and hit these Chaos Marauders. And it does. Mastermind Biblington knew he would catch those Chaos Marauders, and Shattering comes in on all forms. The Glorious Corpse Cart, Delayed Charge, the Burning Head, dang. I need less infantry? Yeah. Wei's in the chat, trying to cheerlead his own build. So Franz got good value again, but I don't really need to do that because it's a speedrun. So, there was Biblington. Biblington was also the only person to send me replays for all 3 foes. So the real defender. Now I think this is where the story falls apart. So in 6th place, we have Anticity versus Wei's army. Can someone explain to me why Azhag the Slaughterer, leading a bunch of night goblins, so it's like he went down to Skarsnik, said, "Give me all ye lads," and ran all the way up to defend the Empire from Vlad von Karstein. There's a lot to unpack here. Why? Why is he here? And it's Vlad. Wouldn't like Nagash in his head say, "Leave him alone. It's a vampire." Sorry. Declan Ware. This is not AI versus AI. It is a faction. It's a challenge on our channel where players, Anticity is piloting the Greenskins, try to beat an AI army faster than everybody else. So it's like a race. And we had people in our community design these armies and tried to make them as hard to kill as possible. Alright. Anticity is using a bunch of Night Goblins. He is sending all the Fanatics into the infantry, and that is good stuff, though I do remember seeing this. These Goblins get scared and run into their own Fanatics that do more damage to them than the zombies ever did. Now, Anticity took a bunch of Fanatic Archers, but I don't know... I mean, I'm sure he's Anticity, so surely he remembered that the Archers now need to be in melee combat for quite a while to get their balloons, but Anticity's Anticity. He does what he wants. Azheg is crumping down the Gits. The White Kings are dead, most of the infantry's dead, and we're down to just Wei's Corpse Cart Legion. Just the Corpse Cart Legion. And for anybody entering right now that's wondering why we're not doing player versus player, it'll make more sense on the rewatch, but I did try to separate these two parts of the video. It's the faction face-off is player versus player, this is player versus AI. And now it's down to just Vlad, and I'm sure a lot of players, the real people, real human beings who play vampire accounts are used to this feeling of Vlad versus the world. Army losses is frustratingly hard for Anticity to get right now, but it looks like it does finally come in. And will he pop the Von Karstein ring? Go AI, do it! Stop him! Nah, the AI won't. And that corpse card's actually disintegrating rather slowly. But the Greenskins have saved Altdorf. For whatever reason. And Anticity, not in first place. He got 6th for that one. He did submit one other time, but yikes. Yikes. Alright, who's next? We are down to Butcher Bird versus Anticity's army. And Butcher Bird taking the Beastman, as he always does. Also, Butcher Bird, if you're in the chat, why the hell did you gold chevron a bunch of chaff? What is this? So Butcher Bird's bringing in 5 Ungor Spear Herds, all with gold chevrons, because one is the ROR, but the other 4 aren't. Centaurs, 4 regular Centaurs, also all with chevrons, and then 4 Poison Hounds with some chevrons but not gold. A Feral Manticore, Torix the Brass Bull, and your caster is somewhere. Ah, there you are. Brave Shaman of Wilds with just Traderkin, it looks like, on his Tuskor Chariot mount. That's a bit of a wild build. So it looks like Traderkin's going down in the middle. Is it overcasted? It is overcasted. So it's going to put some pretty good hurt on these spawn, and so are the Centaurs. So you can see, it looks like Butcherbird wanted these Centaurs just to fight the spawn and deal with all the unbreakable units, and then he'll deal with the normal human units later. So Torix helps finish off Sartorial, and then Butcher's going to methodically push into all these guys, and wow, Army Losses kicks in already with full health Aspiring Champions, Marauder Horsemen still left. It was just such a shock to the balance of power that apparently it is over just like that. That's kind of crazy stuff, Bird. Alright, and he had a time of 94 seconds versus Anticity. That, like, look at these health bars. That is so funny. He just ignored the infantry. He ignored it entirely. Only one Marauder was even, like, dead. He just killed Sartorial, killed the hero, killed the spawn, everything else routed. Very interesting. And again, I didn't really watch these before I'm here because I wanted to have a natural reaction. I just checked to make sure there were no rule breaks, and then I left it alone, so I didn't really watch them. So good stuff, Bird. Good stuff, Bird. And with that, we are on to XMT Wei versus Butcherbird's army. For, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In 5th place, XMT Wei versus Butcherbird's army. And we come back to making a little bit more sense. A little bit. The Beastmen, for some reason, helped the Empire. Maybe they were just jealous of the Chaos Hordes. But now, the Wood Elves are coming. The Eagles are coming, Gandalf. The Eagles are coming. So this is starting to make a little bit more sense. 2 Great Eagles, 4 Hawk Riders, and a Glade Captain on a horse. And yes, the theme is Rohan is coming. The Glade Captain's on a horse. There are 4 Eagle Riders. There are 5 units here. Counts. Other than that, it's Dryads, Orion, and Ariel. So Orion and Ariel, the power couple coming in to save the Empire. We're going to hit that little first fast forward just real quick, because I think we're going to have a Soul Stealer blob coming in as all these infantry get all nice and blobbed up. Hawk's Talon from Orion coming in. Nice Soul Stealer. Another... Ooh, a Dwellers Below is certainly killing all these units. Hawk Riders are just shooting in. Rear charging. It's beautiful stuff, but not the most complicated to cast narratively. Chaos Chariots are strangely the last heroes standing, but army losses will be coming in very quickly, as you should never blob up on aerial like that. Come on, AI, get your shit together. And army losses does come in. So that was Wei, being a dirty wood elf cheeser. Shame on you, Wei. Shame on you. And now we will jump up to our 4th place is Pugnabone's army versus the one Wei crafted. So it's Pugnabone versus the vampire counts. And again, we have the Empire versus vampire counts. Good stuff here. We have 2 Luminarchs of Hysh. One is the Templehof Luminarch. We have Franz and double captains and no magic. Huh, another no magic player. But this one got 4th place, so there must be something to this whole no magic thing. But Franz, both the Empire captains are mounted and the Outriders are mounted. So there's already the 5, but if you wanted to make a case, you could say that these are technically cavalry because they have little spiritual dudes riding them. We're going to have 2 Templehof shots coming in. One hits the Terrorgeist, the other one misses because the first one hit the Terrorgeist. And we have Hellblaster shots coming in. So, that's pretty neat. It looks like Pugnabone... Wait, this is Pugnabone, right? Yep, Pugnabone's going to just kite the vampire counts. That's actually a pretty meta thing to do. And take the air fight with Franz and both of the Empire captains, who are also receiving the Reichman Runefang, bringing their melee attack up to actually a pretty respectable 74. And with Franz, these 2 Terrorgeists don't stand a chance. That's actually pretty funny looking. I wonder if the Templehof Luminarch and the Luminarch of Hysh have retargeted yet, because they should not try to be shooting these things. They're going to be obstructed, and even if they do get a shot off, they're probably just going to hit Franz. Oh, and that blob. Oh, no. The Vampire Counts walked into each other for some reason, and that Hellstorm Rocket Battery is getting great value. And a 2-for-1 shot on the Corpse Carts, and a 4-for-1 shot on the Corpse Carts with the Luminarchs. Hey, Pugnabone, let's go! All right. This man knows what's up. That was pretty awesome. I don't know how he planned that. I don't know how he staged that, but he did it, and it was great. Franz and the Goon Squad are jumping down on top of this Corpse Cart, taking it out. The Templehof Luminarch fires in again, and okay, Pugnabone, that was some beautiful marksmanship. I wonder if he... Can you even manual fire these things? If you can, I'm going to say he was manual firing them just for my own sake, for my own narrative, because I need that to be true. And that comes in with a time of 1:05 seconds. So 1 minute, 45 seconds. 400 kills. 0 and 4, but they both got great value. That is just some beautiful stuff. That is some beautiful stuff. 6 flyers. I thought 5 flyers was the standard. Oh. Houseplant's got a point. Houseplant coming in with the referee, the baton. Wei, you had 6 flyers. Wei, you cheated. You're a dirty cheater. I revoke your title of 5th place in this event, all right? You no longer get 5th. You turn in that ribbon, sir. That little blue ribbon made out of cheap shit and has a 5 on it. You bring it to my house. You hand it back to me, sir. You should be ashamed of yourself. Okay, what's going on? That Sunmaker. Yeah, that Sunmaker was intense. Pugnabone coming in with the dark technology. And in 4th place, we have Wei, the dirty cheater, against Anticity's army. Swordplay is Wei versus Anticity, and Wei is bringing Bretonia. Yay, Bretonia is coming to help the Empire. Another one that actually makes the story make any sense. We're going to have Alberic to Bordelot. Interesting choice. With 2 Pegasus Knights, 3 Grail Knights, 1 Knights of the Realm. It looked like a Knights Errant somewhere as well. And 4 Peasant Bowmen. And he doesn't have too many flyers this time, so we're all good. Only countered by Kolek Suneater. You could take my 5th place, but you'll never take my 1st through 3rd place. You're right. So, when I was watching this on hyper speed, something crazy happens here, so we're going to have to watch this. As on the cavalry charge, like... Okay, the shock damage wasn't as good. I watched it on super fast forward because I was trying to get the time, but there we go. Right after the shock. Look at that. Look how much damage they're doing. They are absolutely destroying all these Chaos Spawn and Trolls and stuff. That is some nutty damage. On the sides, Peasant Bowmans are counter-firing against Marauder Horsemen, but the Marauder Horsemen are too stupid to just melee them. And already the trolls are shattered, Chaos Spawn are taking a ton of damage. And it looks like Wei is pushing in very aggressively. Alberic is helping everyone fight Sartorial. Oh, that's it. He has Alberic's sword. I like that sword. It gives like +8 bonus versus large to everyone around him, so they're just wrecking all these Chaos Spawn stuff. That's a pretty cool little tech piece. Damsel of Beasts only has Curse of Onrir for the -24 melee attack and an AoE. That's pretty good stuff. Peasant Bowmen are destroying these Marauder Horsemen on the sides, and it looks like Army Loss is going to kick in super soon, and he will just have to finish off these couple Chaos Spawn around the map. But hey, Cavalry. Between Butcherbird, using them in the AI Ally Tournament, and then Saphir using them in the High Elf Civil War, and now Wei using them really effectively, and Biblington using them effectively in the speedrun, maybe Cav are really good. Maybe Cav are the best unit in the game. Maybe Milk and Cookies is full of shit. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. That's gonna be my line. Heavy Cav are actually totally fine, and that's it. Yeah. Good value on stuff. Good value from Wei. Nice 4th place performance. Good shit, good shit. Actually, wait, that's 3rd. Wait, is it 3rd? Yeah, it's 3rd. Okay, yeah. Pugnabone's Luminarch's got 4th place. And in 2nd place is Pugnabone's Whatever He Takes versus Bird. Pug versus Bird in 2nd place. Oh, this is another one that made me laugh. So the Dark Elves. The Dark Elves are coming to save the Empire. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Franz says summon the Electric Counts, and his aide, his squire, says like, Hey, sir, all the Electric Counts are dead. Oh, summon Bretonia. Nope, they're busy. High Elves? Busy. But Marathi's coming. Would you even want her there? Would you just send her away? Would you hide, lock the door, pretend you're not home? Anyway, I digress. We have 2 Dark Riders in the trees. We have Marathi up in the sky. We have 2 Hydras. One is the War Hydra, one is the Chill of Sontar. We have Slaanesha's Harvesters, Cold One Knights, and 2 Khanate Assassins. And something way in the back. It looks like just a Bleak Swords to get the troop count over 300. They don't actually want them there. It's just for the troop count. So Soul Stealer's coming in. Oh no, Final Trans. Final Trans from Butcherbird's Sartorial. What's going on over here? Now this is a Soul Stealer from the Slaanesha's Harvesters. And this is going to be a Soul Stealer from Marathi. So double Soul Stealer. And the game crashes? And the game crashes. Go away. I perpetually hear screaming. That's not good. Alright, Pugnabone. Crash my game then. See what I care. And Wei, I think I screwed up. You got 3rd. There's only 2 replays left. There's Pugnabone and then there's the winner. There is Pugnabone and then there's the winner. Alright. Empire getting rescued by a greater disaster. Yeah. Marathi's not gonna let this go for free. Okay, I don't know why I went into multiplayer. It is Force of Habits. Pugnabone versus Bird. We're getting back into it. Getting back into it. You guys can see the game again? Yes, you can. Great. This didn't crash my game when I was checking for the times, because I have them all written down in Excel spreadsheets. So this did work once. I think that was a one-off thing. So we're back where we were. There were 2 breath attacks from the Hydras I missed that did some good damage there. The 2nd Soul Stealer's coming in, and this time... Don't crash. Goody. Okay, so there is the Web of Shadows and a Soul Stealer. Web of Shadows is the item for the Khanate Assassin, if you didn't know that. And an Overcasted Doom and Darkness to give everything in this blob -16 leadership while it's taking all this damage. And Pugnabone is routing off most of the army. That is a really cool little piece there. And just army losses already. Good stuff, good stuff. Now let's see, in Bird's army, he only has 1 unbreakable unit, so Sartorial. So all Pugnabone did was immediately target the only unbreakable unit, and then just AoE everything down and then immediately hit it with minus more leadership, terror routes, and everything came off. That was intense. Hammond giving me the tune for his earlier thing. Oh God. I could sing it if I was an asshole, but I don't want to be an asshole today. I just want to be a good person. All right. I'm going to skip that. Skip that. So, we're down to the final thing. Is the final player with the final replay who got first? This person will get $10, and whoever build they were fighting at the time does not get $10. And then I'll give $10 to the 2 people who made the other builds that were not the fastest time. So, that gets complicated, but we'll get there. So whose build is it that's being fought for the fastest time? It is Butcherbird. Again, the Dark Elves, Marathi and 2 Canadian Assassins coming in with the fastest time. So I will owe Anticity and Way $10 because their builds were not beaten the fastest. And I'll owe Anticity $10 more for beating any build the fastest. And I'll owe Anticity $50 for winning 5 events on my channel. This is his 5th one. So Anticity's getting 70 big old buckaroonies out of this. Out of this shit. But I digress. On the front we have 2 Doomfire Warlocks, I believe a Slaanesh Harvesters was around here somewhere, but 2 Dark Riders with shields, the Siren of Red Ruin, 2 Feral Manticores, Marathi, 2 Canadian Assassins, and a Bleak Sword. Ice Power would be proud of this build, as we just have Soul Stealers, Web of Shadows, fake Soul Stealers, everything coming in, 2 Doom Bolts apparently at the same time, 3 all at the same time, doing lots of great, amazing damage. You see the whole Chaos Army's getting messed up. These Chaos Warriors missed the invite to the big blob, and I'm sure they're actually pretty happy about that right now. More Soul Stealers, more Web of Shadows, more blue circles! Blue circles to victory! And army losses is already coming in as Arthurial falls. And this is the end of that. Marathi shows up at the end of the Empire. The end times are coming, and she says, just Soul Stealer, bitch. Just Soul Stealer. That's pretty funny. Hey, the Doomfire Warlocks were here. The Slaanesh Harvesters. I wasn't totally, I just didn't see them. But that's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. Dark Elves are OP. It's confirmed. And now I owe Anticity $70. But I also owe Way $10. So Way got $10. Anticity got $70 for various reasons. And that's all I got for you people today. Oh, stretch. Oh, stretch. Okay, so all in all, what's the deal? What's going on here? Let's get the screen back up. Left screen, Discord. If you want to take part in the faction face-off, which is the first part of this thing, go in here. Message anywhere in here with your main. I'll add you to the bottom of this list. And keep going down the lists, and when I find whatever faction I need, I'll scroll down and ask you if you want to play it. That's great. Rat Race Speedruns. Yeah. Rat Race Speedruns. We will post challenges in this channel, usually in the pinned messages. You can participate in that. The next one will probably be in about 2 or 3 weeks. This one was probably the least popular. Probably the least popular the speedruns have been in a while. So I'll take a little break from them, let people recharge. And not get so burnt out on this type of event. But tomorrow, what do we have? We have an interview of Zero for Chaos at around noon my time, so 1800 British Standard Time. If you're in any other time, do the math, because I don't want to for every single time zone. And then at 7 p.m. my time, we have the Tournament of 13. So if you win that, you get in the playoffs. If you get in the playoffs, you win money up to $100. And then Thursday, I'm hosting a tournament on Anticity's behalf. Well, actually, he's hosting it. I'm just the pretty face and voice that'll be casting it. So it sounds like Saturday we'll have our next tournament. So around Thursday or Friday, I'll have a poll in when our tournaments. I'll ask you something similar to this. Okay, that's actually another thing. Anyway, I'll ask you something similar to this. You vote for whatever you want to play. Whatever has the most votes at the end of the time, we play that. Pretty simple. If you're wondering why that says @ClanRat, you can go into ClanRat role and ask for the role. That is because people got pissed off, and understandably so, that I was at everyoneing for every poll. There's a lot of polls. So ClanRat means I will poll you, and you can decide what we do on this channel. If you just want to play, or if you don't want to hear anything from me, don't request this role. But if you do, you're part of essentially the voting community. All right. Good job, everybody. Proud of you all. Yes, Anticity's build has 300 models. Just gonna go make sure that that's true, but I'm pretty sure it does. I mean, he has 2 Marauders and 6 Horsemen. I'm pretty sure that has enough models. William Crotus was asking in the chat. Yeah. It has 548. Though technically this Bretonnian army didn't have enough models, but... Same thing with Way. I now strip Biblington of his... I believe that was the 9th place army. Biblington, you lost 9th place because your build was illegal and you cheated. Anyway. That's it for me today, I think. Probably. Yeah. You all have a good night, good day, whatever. I'm going home.